Teraz zapraszamy na scenę Shmuely Rabbina World Values Network.
And now, please welcome to the stage Rabbi Shmuely from the World Values Network.
My friends, on the 27th of September in 1982, a man who had achieved world fame at the age of 58, and I just turned 58, sat down at his desk in a small office in Rome. And he wrote a letter to the premier of the Soviet Union, Leonid Brezhnev, and he said, if Soviet forces dare invade Poland, which they were on the brink of doing, I shall resign from the seat of St. Peter, and I will join my Polish brothers and sisters and be run over by your tanks. That man's name was Cardinal Karol Wojtyła, Pope John Paul II, the greatest pope that ever lived. And he was produced right here in Poland. And we in the United States, who waited 2,000 years to finally get a pope of our own, can only hope that Pope Leo XIV from Chicago, Illinois, which has the largest Polish-American population of any city in the United States, can follow the brave and courageous example of a 58-year-old man who said, I will resign from the most powerful position on earth to ensure that nobody lives in slavery ever again. My friends, I'm an American Jew who is tired of France representing Europe. I am tired of England representing Europe. I am tired of Belgium representing Europe. Where is Polish leadership on the world stage? Look at the country that you have built. You know what they're doing now? Keir Starmer in Parliament in London, or Emmanuel Macron when he's not being slapped by his wife in Paris. You know what they're doing? They are condemning Jews for defending themselves against the tyranny and slavery of Hamas, while Poland stands with Israel, while Poland stands with the Jewish people. My people, the Jews, lived here in this country longer than the first and second temple stood, more than 950 years. And when we're just commemorating the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, let us never forget what happened on the 1st of September 1939, when the most evil man in the history of the world invaded this nation that was unprepared for an invasion, that was betrayed by Stalin, who was the Putin of his time and worse. Let us never forget that Poland for 6 years fought the Nazis while millions, including 3 million Jews, were gassed and slaughtered, and millions of non-Jewish Poles fought the Nazis every single day while France made peace with Hitler in Germany, while France personally had their police, not the Gestapo, not the SS, not Heinrich Himmler, not Reinhard Heydrich. Marshal Pétain, Philippe Pétain, shipped 80,000 Jews to Auschwitz 2 hours from here to be gassed, while the Polish people stood for freedom and democracy and human rights for 6 years. And now I come back to a country to a country with the most beautiful roads in all of Europe, a country of conservative Poles who want to see government that facilitates commerce and doesn't control its citizens. A country that wants immigrants, but immigrants that embrace the values of the nation which they adopt as their home. Do you see what's happening in my country, the United States of America? I am a Jew who loves my Muslim brothers and sisters. But Islam is not Islamism. Islamism is not a religion. It's a genocidal political ideology that wants to do to the Jews what Hitler did to the Jews, to murder every last one of us. 5 minutes walk from the White House 5 days ago. 5 minutes walk from the seat of the greatest power on earth, where President Trump is and Vice President J.D. Vance is, and where Kristi Noem, who's going to speak today. 2 Jews were murdered, shot in the head. When the young woman was shot in the back, she crawled to try to get away. And the Free Palestine thug walked over to her with a gun, and he put it at her temple. A girl in her 20s who was about to get engaged, and he blew her brains away, screaming, "Free Palestine! Free Palestine!" And Poland is rebuilding its Jewish community, and it doesn't allow people with that disgusting, vile ideology to call themselves immigrants to a Western nation when they reject every single one of those values. You want to live in Europe? You embrace European freedom, democracy, capitalism, limited government, women's rights, human rights, freedom to congregate, freedom of speech. And if you want none of that, then get the hell out. You have no place here. Europe has been overrun by people who hate Europe. Europe is on a suicide watch. And it's happening now in my great nation, the United States of America. Our universities, I live 3 miles from Columbia. Our universities are being burnt to the ground. Do you remember when the Nazis took all the books written by Einstein or Freud and made giant pyres of fire and burned them? That's happening at Columbia today. It's happening at Berkeley today. It's happening at the University of Pennsylvania. It's happening in New York University in the United States of America. It's not happening in Poland. Because Poland has decided, you want freedom? Whoever, so many people tell me, Poland is anti-immigrant. Anti-immigrant? Which country took in 2.5 million Ukrainians when they faced war and invasion? Only Poland. Which country? People tell me all the time, my Jewish friends, Shmuley, because I'm Polish American. My grandfather's from Lumja. Best beer. My Jewish friends say to me, Shmuley, isn't Poland anti-Semitic? Remember what President Obama said? The Polish death camps? The Polish death camps? death camps, even my German brothers and sisters, everyone says they accept responsibility for the Holocaust. Maybe. They always say it was done by Nazis, as if some weird group of people came from the moon called Nazis and forced themselves over Germany. That is not what happened. Hitler was voted in a democracy time and time again. It was the German people, not the Nazis, and the people who resisted them was Poland. And I want to tell you something. It's time that my Jewish brothers and sisters know, who come to Poland all the time, but not to see a living, thriving, democratic, incredible economy, Poland, strong conservative values, technological innovation, an incredible workforce, and people of deep faith. This is the last Catholic country that still keeps any Catholicism in Europe. Catholicism is dead in Europe. Pope Leo better come here real quick to show his appreciation. But it's time that my Jewish brothers and sisters came to Poland. And yes, I mourn my 6 million Jewish brothers and sisters who were murdered by the Nazis, 3 million on Polish soil perpetrated by the Germans. But it's time my Jewish brothers and sisters came to Poland and didn't only see a cemetery of Jewish life, Auschwitz-Birkenau, Majdanek, Sobibor, Belzec. It's time they saw a nation that has risen from the ashes to become and is increasingly becoming a European superpower, a strong friend of Israel at the EU, where we have no friends. A strong bulwark against an increasingly creeping Putin. A strong country that celebrates human rights. And by the way, the final thing I have to say to you, do you know that my people who were cremated by the German Nazis in Birkenau, Grossrosen, Buchenwald, Bergen-Belsen, you know, they have no cemeteries, they have no tombstones, they have no gravestones. They are only ensconced, they are only permanent in our memory. And it is Polish taxpayers like you who fund the museum at Auschwitz-Birkenau, who took Treblinka, where the Germans killed 900,000 Jews from the Warsaw Ghetto, and they turned it into a farm. And the Polish taxpayer and government went and rebuilt a monument so that Janusz Korczak and all the great heroes can be remembered. And I, as a Jew, want to say thank you to the Polish people for ensuring that the 6 million are forever. I've run out of time. That's the bad news. The good news is that I am not on Polish time, I am on Jewish time. So they said I could stay here for a week. Now, Adrian's already staring at me. I have to end. Let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, do yourselves a favor. The Polish people have to start believing in themselves. Stop seeing yourselves as second-class Europeans. You are first-class Europeans. France is beautiful, but it's going to hell in a handbasket as it's taken over by people screaming, "Free Palestine," gang rape women, kill Jews, but not in Poland. And it's happening in England, it's happening in Belgium, it's happening in Amsterdam, and it's disgusting. I want to see Poland become the face of Europe. I want to see a nation that spends 5% of its GDP on the military being the face of Europe. I want to see a nation that loves America. Loves America. Europeans are always saying how much they hate America. Make America and Poland great again. And most of all, to President Andrzej Duda, who's about to end office, and his wife Agata, and my very dear friend who was Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, who stupid Emmanuel Macron was called an anti-Semite. when I found Morawiecki to be one of the best friends the Jewish people ever had in any office, but Macron called him an anti-Semite, I want to just tell you, as a Jew, thank you, Poland, and thank you, Polish CPAC, and thank you, Polish conservatives, for having Israel's back. The Jewish people and the Polish people are united as brothers. What happens to one happens to the other. We are both canaries in the coal mine. All of the world saw Poland about to be attacked by Hitler, and they did nothing. And then 100 million people died. The same thing is true of the Jews. They start with the Jews. They start with the kibbutzim around Gaza. They start by raping Jewish women. They start by beheading Jewish babies. They start by killing IDF soldiers. And then they attack New York and bring down 2 buildings and 3,000 people incinerated. The Jews and the Poles are always attacked first. And you know why? Because the Jews and the Poles stand for righteousness. They stand for liberty. They stand for freedom. And above all else, they stand with the strongest belief in God, proud that we are religious, not seeing ourselves as backward because we're not sufficiently secular. God bless the United States of America. God bless the state of Israel. And God bless the incredible Republic of Poland, who I know in the next 5 years will become synonymous with European leadership, with European democracy, and above all else, making Europe great again. God bless you.